everyone!
I'm Jerry.
And I'm Caroline. Today we'll be talking about the recent WPA2 vulnerability, also known as a KRACK vulnerability. This attack specifically attacks the WPA2 protocol that is used to secure communication between a device and a router.
This attack allows people to intercept data, but also in some cases inject data. This means hackers can steal your passwords and other personal information, as well as inject malware or commands such like sending money to themselves. The attack works against all modern protected Wi-Fi networks, especially devastating against Android 6.0, but affects all devices using WPA2.
This vulnerability is called KRACK, which stands for Key Reinstallation Attacks, which refers to a group of vulnerabilities that allows attackers to intercept and steal data that is transmitted over a Wi-Fi network. Here's a diagram of what happens. Here's your mobile device, which is connected to a router, and that is connected to the internet. The communication between the router and the device is protected by WPA2. WPA2 stands for Wi-Fi Protected Access 2, and it is a type of encryption that is used to secure a majority of Wi-Fi networks. A WPA2 network provides unique encryption keys for each wireless client that connects to it. WPA2 uses a four-way handshake to ensure secure connections, and this vulnerability targets a third part of this process.
Before we get to the four-way handshake process, we should explain a few terms that is necessary for us to explain this process. STA, station, stands for station, abbreviated to STA. AP stands for access point. Nonce is an arbitrary number that can only be used once. Anonce stands for AP nonce, S-nonce, STA nonce. MIC stands for Message Integrity Code. PTK stands for the Pairwise Transient Key, and GTK stands for the Group Temporal Key.
The four-way handshake is used by security protocols, and it is designed so that the user and the network can authenticate each other independently without ever explicitly disclosing the key. The key the process uses is called the Pairwise Master Key, or PMK, which is a key that is bound to both a network and the user. Instead of disclosing the key, the user and the network both encrypt messages to each other that can only be decrypted using the PMK. If the decryption is successful, this proves the knowledge of the PMK. Neither side wants to explicitly disclose the PMK in case there is a malicious user that is posing as someone else and may steal the PMK for fraudulent authentications.
The network has the anonce, and the user has the S-nonce. First, the network sends the anonce to the user, and the user generates the pairwise transient key. PTK is generated by concatenating the following attributes: the PMK, the anonce, S-nonce, the AP MAC address, and the STA MAC address. Then the user sends the S-nonce and message integrity check, MIC, which is used to encrypt the S-nonce, to the network, and then network can generate their own PTK. The network also generates a group temporal key, GTK, which is used to decrypt multicast and broadcast traffic. Thirdly, the network sends the GTK and MIC to the user. Lastly, the user sends an acknowledgement to the network.
The weakness is the four-way handshake. When joining a network, the network authenticates the user's credentials, basically checking if the user has the right password. The handshake also generates an encryption key to protect the user's session. The message sending this key may be lost or dropped, so the access point will retransmit this message if it did not receive an appropriate response. This can cause the message to be sent multiple times, and each time this message is sent, the same encryption key is reinstalled, and the number of packets sent or received will be reset to 0. Hackers can use this attack to decrypt packets by forcing their nonces to reset to their initial value. The same encryption key is used with nonce values that have already been used in the past. This causes the encryption protocols of WPA2 to reuse the key stream, which is a type of encrypting, when encrypting packets, and is then easy for them to decrypt them.
This manipulation allows hackers to bypass contingency steps in the WPA2 protocol. The hacker first obtains a man-in-the-middle position. This doesn't allow hackers to decrypt packets. It only allows them to delay, block, or reply encrypted packets. When doing that, they can execute a KRACK attack, and from there, packets can be decrypted. The attack doesn't allow the hackers to see the key, but they are able to use it. The attack does not conflict with the original proof that was developed for the security of this protocol. Matthew Green, a cryptographer at Johns Hopkins University, says that the problem isn't that there are a lot of bugs in WPA2, it's just that it is very hard to patch so many low-cost consumer devices. So in the proof of concept video by Matthew Vanoff, he begins with the device and router of which he wishes to gain a man-in-the-middle position. He first clones the test network to a different channel for which he has full control. Then he forces the device to switch to his network by using a CSA beacon. Then he makes sure that the device can still connect to the internet through our malicious network by running an internet forwarding script. Irrelevant to the KRACK attack, he runs an SSL stripped tool to strip the HTTPS connection of any misconfigured websites. Then using Wireshark, he tracks the data that the device transmits. By tricking the device to connect to our malicious network, we've obtained a man-in-the-middle position, allowing us to carry out the KRACK attack, attacking the four-way handshake of the WPA2 protocol. Attacking the third message of the handshake, we force the device to install an all-zero encryption key, which allows us to see all the data transmitted, decrypted.
So as you can see, this website doesn't have the HTTPS in the URL, which means that the information submitted to the page is vulnerable. Now, as a user logged into this website, their login credentials were decrypted by the hacker. So what's new about this attack? It is the first attack on the four-way handshake protocol that we've ever seen. It doesn't need the actual network password, and this affects many more people than any other vulnerabilities, because basically anyone who uses Wi-Fi is vulnerable.
So here's how you can protect yourself from this vulnerability. Update all your devices. Use a VPN, update your router firmware, use Ethernet, and definitely look for HTTPS. Or just get off the grid.
Thank you, that's all.
Bye!